Today we study the three steps of protein synthesis. First one is transcription, second translation and translocation. Before we start the process of protein synthesis, this is the suppose example of one of the living cell. In that living cell, nucleus which is contain the DNA. DNA carries the genetic material, and with the help of RNA, DNA completed the process of the protein synthesis. Always remember that DNA cannot participate directly into the process of protein synthesis. So RNA plays important role in the process of protein synthesis. The only one strand of the DNA participate in the process of protein synthesis. Whole this process is called central dogma. Proteins are synthesized by DNA through the RNA called as central dogma. Central dogma means to study transcription and translation. mRNA is produced as per the sequence of nucleotides which is present on the DNA. Only one of the two strands of DNA is used into this process. Then what is the structure of DNA? In previous standard, you have already learned about the structure of DNA. DNA is a double-stranded, highly coiled. These two strands are held together by hydrogen bonds between the bases, with adenine always forming a base pair with thymine and cytosine forming a base pair with guanine. Friends, in the process of transcription, this twisted DNA structure in this one of the part of the DNA, that is also called effective part, which is become untwisted. Look at these strands are parallel, holding parallel to the each other at that time when there is a untwisted process started. Look at here, these are the nitrogen bases and there is a hydrogen bond. This hydrogen bond breaks for the process of formation of mRNA. At that time, RNA polymerase is an enzyme which is responsible for copying a DNA sequence into a RNA sequence during the process of transcription. In the RNA, thymine is replaced with the uracil. Here thymine. Then complementary sequence is adenine. Here adenine. In DNA, it is complementary sequence is thymine, but thymine is replaced with uracil, cytosine with guanine, and guanine with cytosine. These mRNA formed into the nucleus comes into the cytoplasm. mRNA which comes into the cytoplasm has thousands of triplet codon. What is meant by triplet codon? The codon for each amino acid contains 3 nucleotides are called triplet codon. Dr. Hargobind Khorana, a scientist of Indian origin, has made an important contribution in discovery of triplet codon for 20 amino acids. For this work, it has been awarded Nobel Prize. Next process is translation. As per the codon on mRNA, the tRNA molecule with complementary anticodon is brought near mRNA. This process is called translation. Means in the simple way that codon is present on the mRNA. At that time, tRNA has anticodon which is complementary to the codon present on the mRNA. In previous session, we had said that lock and key mechanism. Lock is codon and anticodon is key. When this lock and key mechanism are matches, then amino acid released. Every tRNA brings specific amino acid. These are joined together by peptide bonds with the help of rRNA, means ribosomal RNA. In above process, there is one also process included that is called translocation. Ribosomes keep on moving from one end of the mRNA to other end of mRNA with a distance of one triplet codon, that is called translocation. Many such polypeptide chains come together to form different and complex proteins. In our textbook, tRNA brings one of amino acid given example is that lysine. In this way, protein synthesis is done with the help of three steps: transcription, translation and translocation. Mutation. Sudden change occur in the genes or genetic material called mutation. Some mutation may be minor and some may be considerable. This mutation may cause genetic disorders like sickle cell anemia. These genetic orders are also we studied in the previous standard. Friends, our next topic is evolution. Evolution means gradual change occurring over a long duration. It results in the development of living organisms. Approximately 3 billion years ago, life was not present on the earth. Living organisms developed in following phases. At the beginning, simple elements may have been formed. These simple elements are next going to the phase into organic and inorganic compounds. Then complex organic compounds such as proteins and nucleic acid. Then in such a manner, development continued. Our evolution requires lots of evolution. There is a larger span of years required. Then our next topic is what is theory of evolution. According to this theory, first material, that is protoplasm, formed into the ocean. Over the larger span, very gradual changes occurred in the unicellular organisms, which slowly evolved into larger and more complex lives of forms. These are the theory of evolution. It is important for the theory of natural selection. There are the ranging diversity into the plants and to the animals. Then, what is the evidences of evolution? The proof to support this process are called evidences of evolution. Its different types are given in our textbook. Its types are morphological evidences, anatomical evidences, vestigial organ, paleontological evidences, connecting links, and last one is embryological evidences. Today we start our first morphological evidences. Similarity in external and visible features called morphological evidences. In animals, we see the similarities in the structure such as mouth, nostrils, ear pinna, position of eyes, and thickly distributed body fur or the hair. In plants, similarity in characters like leaf shape, leaf venation, and leaf petiole, etc. This indicates that there are some similarities in those groups and proves that origin must be same and must have common ancestor. These proofs of evidences always suggested that we have common ancestors or we have common origin in manner of plants and also in manner of animals.